we have a guest speaker. Hello, welcome or welcome back. We are finally here to talk about my 2026 goals. I feel like this year took me longer than ever in my life to figure out my goals because mostly I felt like my 2025 goals were really unsatisfying, and so I was trying to figure out how to feel better about them this year, but also still be realistic, because for 2025 I was really trying to be super realistic and not like over plan the year, and it just ultimately ended up again just not feeling super satisfying. I easily achieved certain goals and other goals I didn't. Like I had made a 25 books to read in 2025 goal that I absolutely tanked, like didn't even get close. I think I read maybe 7 of them, but like I no longer feel at all interested in that goal regardless. So yeah, I just wanted to find more specific goals, but also goals that were more in alignment with what I'm hoping to do this year. So anyway, so I have blatantly stolen the idea of a language project board. I believe the first person that I saw do this was Victoria at Study Notepad on Substack, and Instagram. But I've also seen Madison at Sunday Korean do a bingo board. Tanya Benavente has talked about doing I have to let the cat out. Has talked about doing a bucket list, a language bucket list. So I have openly plagiarized these things, and I have a board here. I have regrets about my color choices, but I also have a blank version, a simplified version in my tracking notebook, so I don't have to get overstimulated looking at this one. So we will go through all of these specific things that I have on this board, but first we can talk about the general 2026 vibes. Overall, I really want to get myself out of the kind of slump that I've been in for the past couple months. It hasn't been like terrible. I'm gonna say, that I want to start taking better care of myself on the basics, not even marathon training or anything like that, just kind of the basic things, which makes it sound super dire. In some ways it hasn't been. I mostly struggle to do things after work. I kind of come home and just, turn into a slug, and haven't been putting a lot of effort into eating well or anything like that, which is, I'm sure, a cycle which continues to reinforce itself. So I just want to get back to the basics. Walking more. I've been trying to get into some little micro habits like stretching while I read, which has been really good and I think will really help. So just stuff like that. This past quarter, while I was doing the personal curriculum, I had set up a goal to do a minimum of 3 cultural activities or museum visits or things like that per month. And I definitely want to continue that. I think that has been really beneficial because it helps me to keep that at the forefront of my mind. Most months I've done more than 3, but it just is kind of I'm always keeping an eye out for those opportunities, looking for museums or free things to do or whatever. I want to do more activities. I love museums and I will keep going to museums, but I think I have mostly been filling it up with museum visits rather than proactively seeking out events or anything like that. I am also going on a no-buy for books and for language learning resources, and really for almost anything other than the necessities. I have plenty of books. I do not need any more right now. Through various sources, I have probably 5 physical books unread right now. I also have libraries and subscriptions and stuff, so I have access to an infinite amount of books. I also have already purchased access to the things that I want to work on in Spanish for the year. I have a correspondence course. Basically, I have a grammar activity subscription. I even got the test prep book that I will potentially be using. I have a conversation club. I'm really set up for the year, at least for the first half of the year. The no-buy is definitely for 3 months. I think I will probably want to continue it for 6 months. And for my other languages, I can use free resources, and again, those same subscriptions and libraries until I'm sure that I really want to invest in something else and that something else is actually necessary and not just me trying to like artificially motivate myself. There are two kind of exceptions. So my Storytel subscription renews in February, so that is allowed. And also, if I travel to the country that I want to travel to in like April, I think, I would be allowed to buy one book if I find a book that I want to buy, not just a book for the purpose of buying a book. But that would be in the 6 month anyway. The 3 month would already be done. But if I continue into 6 months and I take that trip, I am allowed to buy one book. Okay, so getting into specific languages, but still more vibes-based, not our specific goals. Kind of the thing that I've been thinking about recently for Spanish is kind of quality over quantity, but also still hopefully a decent amount of quantity. I think what really has inspired this, two different things. One is like my YouTube like zombie addiction. I never actually really had a problem with my YouTube consumption until the past like 2 months, and recently it's just been really bad. Like I just don't even mindfully consume it on YouTube. I just click on whatever, and yeah, I don't know. It's been like a crutch, like an emotional blankie for me, but I'm not enjoying it. Like that would be one thing if I was, enjoying myself or learning things or whatever. I'm sure sometimes I do, but the vast majority of the time I don't. And so this will come up later, but I want to do a little YouTube break time, not from making videos, but from watching them. But regardless, the other thing that inspired this was making my Spanish show tier ranking video and realizing how many TV shows I have watched that I didn't even like, that, didn't stick with me. I don't remember them, or I do remember them and I did not like them. And obviously that's going to happen sometimes. And it was all, with the end goal of learning Spanish, which I did. So it served its purpose. It was worth it. But I don't want to continue doing that. Like I'm not to the point where any input is good input anymore in Spanish, I don't think. And so I want to be a lot more conscientious about what I am watching and making sure that I'm actually enjoying it. If it's a garbage TV show and I'm actually enjoying it, that's fine. I'm not saying I only need to be consuming like the highest forms of media. Like I'm not that kind of person. But I do want to make sure that I'm actually enjoying the experience of things. I'm hoping to spend a lot more time on like Canopy, which I've been obsessed with lately, which is a library, movie, and TV show app. So I've been in a movie phase and I've been really loving that. So I want to keep using that as long as my movie phase continues. As far as grammar and speaking, which were a goal of last year, that I wanted to get really comfortable with speaking and writing in Spanish. And that did definitely vastly improve over the year, but it's still not where I would want it to be. Like if you showed me the change in my level over the year, I would be very happy with the change, but I'm still not happy with the level. The mental picture that I cannot get out of my head is that my Spanish right now is like a beater. Like she gets you from point A to point B. It's like those used car ads on Craigslist or whatever that are like, it runs. And I'm very grateful for that. I am grateful that I can do all of the things that I need to do and people understand me and they don't like point and laugh. But I absolutely know that it could be so much better. And so I really want to like take my Spanish to the shop, like do a lot of tune-up projects in 2026. So I have some topics already picked out, like specific things that I know that I really need to work on. And the first one is going to be the 2 types of simple past tense. Because in English we only have 1 and in Spanish there are 2. And I have like looked this up so many times, read so many different explanations of when you use one, when you use the other. And I do understand it in theory, but I still cannot reliably do it correctly. And so when I was studying for the DELE B2 last year, I did kind of a deep dive on the subjunctive. And so I watched videos about it, I read about it, I did exercises, but mostly I just took the time to really like philosophically understand it. And that helped so much. Like, I still make subjunctive errors, but I make a lot less than you'd expect for the amount of errors I make with other things that are theoretically more simple. So I think that that really helped me. Like, I took a bunch of notes and all of that. So I really want to do those deep dive projects on multiple different things. And so the first one I'm going to tackle is that past tense issue. Then there are other things like gender, where like people make fun of people who still make gender errors in Spanish because there are rules and it's really simple. There are not. Well, there are rules and it is really simple until you get to where it's not really simple. So all of those weird gender cases where it doesn't follow the pattern that you'd expect it to, I want to just actually memorize those, actually learn all of the genders that I don't know. So that's another one. That one obviously won't require as much of a deep dive. It will just require a lot more repetition and that sort of thing. But all of these kind of niche tune-up projects are what I want to be working my way through. So I'm sure I will be uncovering more of them throughout the year. But that is the Spanish vibe. German. I really want to make progress and to get to a point where I can enjoy media. This was also my goal last year, and it did not happen, although a little bit. Like, I did not do nearly as much in German as I hoped to, but I did kind of get to the point where I can enjoy reading things, but not what I was hoping for by any means. So we're back with the same basic goal. The only difference is basically if I don't enjoy the media that I find, like, I really want to make an effort to immerse in German books and movies and stuff like that this year. And hope if I get to the point where I can, and if I don't enjoy that media, I think I will be finally ready to kind of close the chapter on German, because this has always been kind of the language, the one that got away. Like, I wanted to learn it so much for my whole childhood, and I never knew how, never put in enough time to actually do it. And so it's always been at the back of my mind, like, thinking that I should know German, you know, that I'm like, it's part of my like identity that's missing or whatever. But knowing that, like, it's very unlikely that I will use German specifically in any way other than the media, at least in the foreseeable future. Obviously, never say never. I never thought I'd be living in a Spanish-speaking country specifically, but I, am here because of the connections that I found through learning Spanish, where if that's not going to happen in German, I don't necessarily need to actually learn it. Like, I could let go of that. I don't want to. I hope to find amazing connections with the literature or the movies or whatever. But yeah, that's kind of what it's going to be this year, is kind of a come to Jesus meeting about, do I actually want to learn this language or should I let it go? And then Portuguese, my love. I just want to have fun and enjoy the language. Basically, I'm not going to be super deep diving on Portuguese, at least that I foresee. It's possible that might change. But for now, I mostly just want to use it as kind of like a reward to allow myself to watch things in Portuguese, read things in Portuguese potentially, listen, etc. Because I can understand quite a bit, especially when it's written down. And I just love the way that Portuguese sounds. I'm very interested in Brazilian culture. And so, yeah, that's kind of where we're just vibing out with Portuguese, basically. Okay, so getting into my language board. My goals that do not correspond to a specific language. We have our 3-month no-buy. We have potentially our 6-month no-buy. We have meditate 300 days. I am trying to restart, technically. I have had a meditation habit before, and then I fell off of it, and I have tried to restart it a million times, but I am committed, hopefully. So I don't want to do any kind of streak or anything like that because I really don't enjoy that long term, but I like the idea of doing like a 300-day or something like that, where it doesn't have to be in a row, but I want the majority of the days. Like, that gives me the space to miss like 5 days month, basically, I think. So, like, you're gonna miss days, but the majority of the days, be doing it. As I mentioned, I want to do a YouTube watching break, so I would like to do a month of no watching YouTube. I don't know when that will be, probably sooner rather than later, because I need to break this habit that I'm in now of just watching it nonstop. And I really want to be like intentional about that, whether it is watching documentaries instead or something like that. Like, I like having things to like learn from, to be inspired by while I'm getting ready, while I'm, doing whatever. And obviously I could just listen to podcasts, but it's more engaging to have that visual element. Anyway, as I said, I want to be intentional about this, not just cutting it out and not adding something different, because I think then I'll probably end up filling that gap with something equally uninspiring. Then the last unspecified goal is to watch a movie 10 or more times. So the channel Days and Words did this, except he did 50 times. I think the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie. And I've been really interested in it, in the idea of doing something like this. I don't know that I want to commit to 50 times, especially because he edited it down to only be like the spoken parts of the movie. And I don't know if I'll, do that or have the ability to do that. But yeah, I would be really interested in doing this with, like, again, also an animated movie. So maybe the K-pop Demon Hunters movie, I love that movie, or Nimona is another one I really like. I don't know, we'll see, but I would be really interested in doing this project because I've always been a repetitive person. Like, when I was a kid, I watched and listened to the same things nonstop. Now I still do it. Like, I reread books, the same books regularly. Like, I have always been a person who likes repetition, and obviously it can be really beneficial for language learning. So we'll see. Then we'll do Portuguese goals first, because I only have 2 of them on this board. One is to watch 12 movies in Portuguese. Spoiler alert, will have this goal in every language because I've been in a movie mood. Probably I'll get out of a movie mood in like 2 seconds, and then I will regret having these goals. But the movie that I've watched in Portuguese from Brazil so far, I adored. So we'll see if that continues. But the other goal is kind of a wild card, but it is to visit Brazil. I don't know if that's even feasible this year, but I would love to. Probably not. But we'll keep it on here, just, for the spice. Then German, we have, I think, 4 German goals, so 12 movies in German. I would love to finish both the A2 app that I have, which is like the VHS free official government app to help learn German, and the B1. So I have both of those on here. And I have Visit Switzerland, which is the trip that I want to take in April. So if I am able to swing that trip, then I'm allowed to buy a book while I'm there if I find something inspiring. And obviously it's Swiss German, so significantly different, but I could still, enjoy reading German signs and stuff. And yeah, that would be really inspiring. That's not why I want to take the trip. I want to take the trip because Switzerland is the most beautiful country I've ever visited. I went in 2013 and I have wanted to go back literally ever since. But yeah, I think that would be really motivating. Then we get into Spanish, which is the vast majority of this board. So I'll just go in order here so I don't lose my place. Finish my C1 course. I think I'm like a third of the way through, maybe. I want to do a 30-day reading aloud challenge, which I am starting now. I think reading aloud will really help me build up more ability, hopefully, to speak well. I want to do a 30-day writing challenge. Read from 6 new countries. So I am still trying to do my reading around the Spanish-speaking world challenge. It's been going very slowly, and so I want to read from 6 new countries, which I feel like should be extremely doable. 12 movies in Spanish, no surprise. My past tense deep dive that I talked about. Finish the bibliography, finish the published works of Samantha Schweblin. I right now am only missing 2. If she comes out with another one, obviously it'll be 3, but still achievable. Make 6 videos in Spanish. Take the C1 exam. So I was thinking I would do this in the spring, but I actually am not going to do that anymore. I will be moving out of Spain in the late spring, early summer. And so I want to take advantage of my time here and not be focused on passing the exam. And so I will, if I take it, which I do want to, it would be in the fall. I have on here Gender Weird, which is just the gender-related deep dive that I mentioned before. Go to a new country that speaks Spanish. Unspecified. No spoilers. A 30 days speaking challenge. Read 5 more Isabel Allende books. I am trying to read her entire bibliography as well, but that's significantly longer, and so I'll put on the screen where I am in reading it, but I want to read 5 more. And finish the Radio Ambulante catalog. I am now missing 2023, 2024, and 2025, and then obviously as 2026 continues, there will be 2026 also, but I want to catch up. And theoretically, I absolutely can. There's about 30 episodes per year, so that is 90 episodes total, and then whatever is coming out in 2026, which, theoretically I can listen to like minimum 1 episode a day. So that's in the first quarter of the year, we could be basically done with this. I think this will be the year to catch up on Radio Ambulante. So that is everything. I love this like project board idea. So thank you to Victoria and everyone who has contributed to that, because it gives me like some freedom, but also lets you be really specific, because that was I think the issue with last year, where I really wanted to have the freedom, but then the lack of specificity made the goals really, really unsatisfying. I think this is a good mix. So that's where we're at going into 2026. I'm really excited. I'm nervous about 2026, but I am actually very excited about it as well. If you have suggestions related to any of these goals or even unrelated, definitely leave them below. If you want to share a goal that you have, I would love to read about it. And I will see you next time.